Today we're going to do a quick version of the updated Karen model. So a couple things that I'm changing is we are putting the opening for the slot in the center of the mask and putting the bottom over the top, because in some of the other options the mask was coming up a little bit too high in the top. So this is how I'm going to adjust it. You're still going to cut them the same size. You're going to cut the adult 8.5 by 15. And what I've done is actually marked out a measurement guide right on a piece of fabric here so that I can then go ahead and use these as fold lines. So adult, I'm going to cut 8.5 by 15. And then the other side, I put the children's measurements, and I'm going to cut those still 7 by 13. And and all this is going to be listed in the PDF that you can download. So today we're just going to do an adult one. Oh, and another thing that you can do is, if you're finding that the mask is not the right size, what you can do is measure yourself from ear to ear and subtract 2 inches and make that the width that you're cutting. Because, you know, the size that we're cutting for these is an average size. If you're a very small adult woman or a larger man and these are not fitting, go ahead and measure from ear to ear, subtract 2 inches, and cut that as the width. Still make the height 15 inches. Okay, first thing I do in order to make these go really quickly is I have everything all pre-cut. So I have a stack of my pieces cut out. These are the 8.5 by 15. I have pieces that are 5 by 2 inches, and I'm using these to make the side channels. If you'd like your side channels to be a little bit wider than what these come to be finished, then you can just cut them 2.5 or even 3 inches, whatever you're more comfortable with. But I like the 2 inch. So I make a stack of those. I also take the elastic and I'm cutting these to 10 inches in length. And I'm cutting a piece of twisty wire 1 inch shorter than the width. So these are 7.5, and I've taken a plier and I've just rounded out the edges so no one gets poked. I'm going to take the piece of fabric and I'm going to fold over the short end a 1/4 inch, and then again another 1/4 inch. And I'm going to go ahead and sew them one right after the other. I'm just going to make a big chain of them. And I'm going to stitch that down, and I'm going to go ahead and do that to every single one. And then I'm going to turn them around and do the other side, and I've already done that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stack that's already completed, and I'm going to lay it on top of this guide that I've made for myself. And what I'm going to do is, for the adult size, I have a 4-inch section, a 1.5 inch section, 3 inches in the center, another 1.5 inch section, and then another 4-inch section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold down 4 inches. So I'm going to fold it right to that first line. So the top is folded down 4 inches. I'm going to fold the bottom up second 4 inches. Then I'm going to fold down the top 1.5 inches, and I'm going to fold the bottom up 1.5 inches, and they're just going to meet just in the center. Then I'm going to take the iron and press it all in one shot. When I'm done pressing it, I'm going to lift the top only open, and I'm going to lay it like this in a stack of all the other ones that I've already pressed. And what I'm going to do next is take the next stack that I'm going to do over to the sewing machine, lay them with the tops next to the open sewing machine, and I'm going to put them through, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch channel straight across the top. And again, I would just keep feeding them all the way through. But if I place them all in the same order, then I know to only do the top. But for now, I'm just going to do the one. So then I'm going to take one of the twisty ties that we already completed, and I'm going to feed it right into that channel that we just made. And get it right into the center. And then I'm going to fold the top back down. Now I'm going to take one of the side pieces that I'm using. I'm going to put right sides together and lay this directly in the center that I have here. I'm going to fold the top up so that the twisty tie part is above the top of the fold line. And then I'm gonna just sew a 1/4 inch down. So the top is folded up. We get to the bottom section, I'm gonna fold it down. And again, I would just go one right after the other. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Then what I'm gonna do is lift this straight up and fold it up. I'm gonna fold the side over so that it's level with the top here. Place a pin. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side as well. I'm gonna fold it over, place a pin, and I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. So I have some here that I've done that, all right? So it's folded over, right sides were together, I lifted it up, folded it, pressed it with my hands. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this over a 1/4 inch. I'm gonna take one of the ties that I already cut and lay it on top of there, right in the center. Fold it over again, and I'm gonna sew that down with the tie already in there, and this way you don't have to string it later. Make sure you back tack it a little bit. And I use sometimes a little barbecue skewer in case it's a little tough with the, some people's machines have trouble getting started over the crease. So I just use a little skewer to help push it through so I don't have to put my fingers in there and sew that down. Again, back tack both ends. Okay, then what I'm gonna do is tie this in a loose knot. I was cutting these earlier about 9 inches, but some people it's a little bit too tight for, so it's best to cut them at 10 inches for the adults, and then tie a loose knot, and then whoever is getting it can adjust it for themselves. Now the last thing I'm gonna do is turn it upside down and make a couple little pleats in the chin so that it fits better. I'm gonna measure out about 2 1/4 inches, and I'm just measuring it. I'll put a piece of tape on my sewing machine to make it easier. So 2 1/4 inches, I'm gonna fold it with the right sides together. I'm gonna put it into the sewing machine right about a stitch in. I'm gonna stitch forward a little bit. I'm gonna back up over the edge and then stitch forward. And what I'm doing is just sewing a little triangle, and my triangle is about a 1/4 inch over and 3/4 inch down. And then I'm gonna turn it over and measure again at 2 1/4 inches. It's right there. I'm gonna fold it. Make a little chin pleat here too on the other side, right at about a 1/4 inch, and just go at a little diagonal. And again, these two, all these chin pleats, I would just do one side at a time and do, 10, 15 at a time and go straight through. And then your mask is gonna fit a little bit better. It has a really nice shape to it when you put it on, and this is your nose piece that goes on the top. And from the inside, you have your pocket that you can attach a disposable filter if you so desire. Thank you.